Replay viewers, how is everyone doing? I am Hallie Sherman from Speech Time Fun, and I am here every Wednesday night sharing my tips and tricks with you. And tonight I'm going to be talking all about the dreaded mixed groups. I don't know about you, but when it comes to scheduling, no matter how much I would love to put those articulation kids together and have that social skills group, that beautiful social skills group, it doesn't happen. It doesn't. I would love to, but it doesn't, right? It is such a challenge when you are being told by administration, just fit as many kids into your schedule so they don't have to hire another SLP. Or you're being told by an administrator, you can only pull these kids at these specific times. It makes it a little difficult to have that beautiful articulation group and that lovely fluency group and that cute social skills lunch bunch that I would love to have. I can't do it. I would love to. I would love to have a lunch bunch, but I can't. And when you have an articulation group, wouldn't you just love to have just a group of our kids? So like, oh my goodness, I am so jealous that your principal trusts you. And although my principal trusts me and my administration trusts me, they still don't care. I try to do the best I possibly can. And I'm going to tell you some of my tricks of just doing the best I can. And then I'm going to show you also how I tackle those random R kids in your mixture of, auditory comprehension groups, or that random social skills kid mixed with, I don't know, a vocab group, okay? Or even if you have kids all working on different WH questions in one same group, and they've all mastered things at different levels. So let's get started, okay? And that, by the way, is the link to my blog post that is officially up, and it's going to have all the things that we're going to talk about tonight and links to all the different things. So feel free to check it out later, or when you want to refresh or remind yourself that ORCID is a great language model. The ORCID is such a language model. That is right, and that's what I'm going to be talking about. Using those, our kids and those social and even their fluency kids as language models. That's what we're going to talk about today. Let's flip this bad boy around and get started. I don't know why it's doing that. All right, whoa, hi, hello everyone. Hi, I am Hallie Sherman from Speech Time Fun, and I'm a speech language pathologist in New York, and I have been a blogger and TPT seller for about 4 years, and I work in an elementary school in New York, and I don't know about you, but I have a large caseload. I see about 8 sessions a day. Most of my sessions have 3 to 5 students in each one, and I am just struggling to sometimes just meet every kid's goal, take enough data, know every single kid, where they're at, what their teachers are doing. There's so many things that you have to worry about when you have a large caseload, and even when you have a small caseload. No matter the caseload size, you still have the same issues. You still have kids with different needs. That's what makes us SLPs, and that's what we love about our job. We love the challenge of the problem solving, that every year is different, every kid is different, and every kid has different needs. That's one thing I love about being an SLP, that every day is just different. I'm never using the same curriculum each year. That's what I love about it. I love the problem solving, but sometimes it is a struggle. I know, like the hot question when you go on an interview for being a speech pathologist, it's how do you deal with a mixed group, all right? Am I right? Did everyone get asked that when they got hired or went on an interview for their job? But right? That's like the #1 SLP job interview question. So I'm going to share some things today that if you're going on a job interview, it can help you. Or if you're, you're burnt out, it's middle of April, we're so close to the end, and you ran out of so many ideas of dealing with these mixed groups, and I'm going to throw some ideas at you that take no prep time whatsoever, and will let you just get started tomorrow or whenever you see that next group. So there's 2 types of mixed groups, or 3 types, right? You can have a group with that R kid, the social skills kid, the fluency kid, the language kids, right? You can have a group of all those types of different kids. Or you can have a kid with all those different needs as well, right? And that makes it a little easier because you could just work on everything if you had that kid working on everything. And then you also have those mixed groups where there's just different levels. Like you might have a kid who's mastered main idea, but he's struggling on inferencing. But you have kids in that group that can't even do main idea or WH questions, right? So that's like another mixed group. or they all might be language-based kids, but have different needs. And how do you, I mean, you can drive yourself nuts. You can be up till midnight planning for all these sessions and trying to make it interactive and hands-on and, you know, collecting your data. You can really drive yourself crazy, right? So I have a couple ways that I like to tackle this, and it's easy. You can just do it on the fly. It doesn't take much prep time. My one is like play-based. You can either do role-playing or pretend play. And you can say, like, set up the scenario. Like, say you have a kid in that group who is working on the K sound, and you have a kid in that group working on social skills, and you have a kid in that group working on, I don't know, answering WH questions. You can have them role-play them being in at a camp, having a campfire, eating carrots, and I don't know, let's throw a social problem in there, and someone is crying, okay? Throw it out there. Let them reenact it. Record it on your iPad. Have them play it back. Reflect on it. Something so simple as that, just letting them act it out and having role-playing cards, letting them come up with their own scripts for it. So they're having to work together. They're bombarded with the sound that, you know, a student in that group is working on. You can have a whole category of, you know, vocabulary words that another student could be working on. You can have, and then you ask them WH questions about what they did. If you record it on your iPad or even your iPhone and play it back, you can say, okay, who were you? Where were you? What were you doing? Why were you doing? There's your WH questions. So just having them role play and recording it can get you to work on all those different goals and all those different needs in a fun way. They will love it. They will be interactive, and it's motivating. It's just a matter of coming up with, you know, a scene and bombarding with words. You can pretend to go to a restaurant and have them order different things with the articulation sound, and you can be the waiter and who has bad social skills, and they have to point it out to you and tell you what you're doing wrong. So there's so many different things with pretend play that you can do, especially if you throw yourself into the scene, and you can be the one with the bad social skills. You can be the one producing the articulation sounds wrong. You can be the one not using the fluency strategies. This way, they can identify it on you, and it can be fun and interactive, and they can learn from each other. And use those kids with the higher language skills. Let them be the role models. Let them, you know, be the leader. Let them write things down. Use those students to the benefit of what they can do. So role-playing and play therapy. Even, you know, taking out blocks, playing with blocks, talking about different things. What did we see in school today? There's your category, right? While you're building, before you can put on a block, you have to tell me something with your R sound that you saw in school today. Okay, I saw a ruler, okay? And then the next kid, you know, before they put the thing on, they have to answer a WH question before they... So, you know, doing something that just is turn-taking but fun, where they can work together. Anything that elicits play and interaction is a great way to deal with those mixed groups. And hey, there was no prep. You just take it out of blocks, or, you know, and even just throwing it out there and saying, now you're doing this. Here's the dry erase board. Plan out your scene. Done. They can have so much fun with it. Okay, so that's play therapy. 2, books. Who doesn't like books? I love using wordless picture books. One of my favorites, Zoom. I don't know if you heard of it. Zoom is like on each page, like you get further and further like into the scene, and they can have to infer, they can describe what's in the picture, they can answer questions. The best part about wordless picture books is there's like so many right answers. They can tell the story in so many different ways. So if you find a wordless picture book, and you can say to the students, okay, find your L sound and tell me, you know, everything in this picture with your L sound. The other student has to tell you the character setting, problem, solution, and they can work together to create the story, then retell the story, telling me an idea of the story, sequence the story. There's so many things you can do with the wordless picture books. And chalk is another one. I love the snowman story for winter. There are so many, and on my blog I have a link to a whole bunch of them, so feel free to check that out after. And even just regular storybooks. If you give a mouse a cookie, there's sequencing, there's cause and effect, there's so many vocabulary words and common common vocabulary and categorization that you can do with them. So there's so many basic storybooks that are that the classroom teachers are using. Even all the old ladies swallowed the different things. You can work on their verb tenses. You can work on everything, sequencing, predicting, and then you can find the ones and then have them feed the old lady all the things that are with their articulation sound. So all those different kind of storybooks, you can work on so many different skills. You read the book once, you talk about it, you can do different activities with it, and there's so many things on TPT of storybook companions. You know, feel free to look on those. There's so many out there that all you have to do is just read the story, and all the different individual kids can work on their individual goal while after the story is read. Another one I like to do is I use riddle books. I have so many of these in my therapy room. They love them. Sometimes at the end of sessions, I just let them like play around with the riddles. So you have a student who is a little, you know, the higher reader. He can go look for a joke with his articulation sound, and he can read it out to everyone else. Okay? And then the rest of the kids have to guess the answer to it. What makes it funny? There's multiple meaning words. Is there figurative language? And there's so many different things you can talk about when you talk about riddles. So that's why I love riddles. And there's so many riddle books that just have like bombarding of like sounds and language. And this one I have, it has like different like themes. I don't know. Funniest riddle book in the world. The kids love it. And I have ones that have homophones. There's a homophone book. There's so many different ones for kids, and even enchantedlearning.com has so many free jokes for like seasons. So you can have the students go in, or even themes, like go look for an animal joke, go look for a Christmas joke, and you know what makes it funny, which one has your sound in it, and they can go back and forth and like crack each other up. And my students love telling jokes because they leave the room and like go on the playground and impress their friends with jokes. Why not? So that's another way. Using joke book, wordless picture books, the common sequencing picture books. Other books I love to have, and I posted this one today on my Instagram. I think it's today. This is one I had, my first big book of why. Okay, so this, oh sorry if you're taking a snapshot. Hi, what's up? Okay, so this book has like different things. It has different like categories. So it's like, why are flamingos pink and orange? They can find topics that are interesting to them. Right? Right? It's a great book. They can find ones with their articulation sound. They can go find something that has something related to their classroom curriculum. There's stuff about like them. Here, let me find some. Here's some good ones. This is a funny one. Why does my skin wrinkle in the tub? So how many kids do you have working on WH questions? And why is probably the hardest one. So here with this book, you can work on why questions, cause and effect, predicting. You can work on vocabulary using context clues. And what I like to do is I keep right in my book, in the cover, my visuals for different things I like to work on with them. So ready to go, I have, I don't know if you can see, cause and effect. I mean, these are chicken scratch on an index card. Okay, here's my why question visual. What up? Okay, and then I have, there's some, the blank is wrong because, and then here's my main idea visual. My detail 1, detail 2, detail 3, and main idea. How simple. I keep it in the book, ready to go, pull it off my shelf. The kids can work together, find a story that they are interested in. One can find the one with their articulation sound. The other kid has to read it out using their fluent sounds. They can discuss it. They can make their own drawings afterwards. They can discuss, they can come up with their own why. Let them come up with their own why after that. You know, using something simple. And this series has like, I think, the big book of what, big book of where. They have all of them. So highly recommend it. Love it, right? Something so simple as a book like this. Like, after, I don't know, last week, after the state test, one of the teachers in my building has like a whole bunch of these types of books. And they were reading it just for fun. They were loving learning about sharks and anything. Like, they love it when it's especially like there's real pictures, and they love it. Highly recommend it. So that's picture books, storybooks, wordless picture books. Another thing I like to use, I need it, middle schoolers will love it. Love it, love it, love it. They love this. I've used Chicken Soup for the Teenage Soul with middle schoolers. And I find stories with problems, just social scenarios, like dealing with different problems that they might have. And then I might highlight, or have them highlight their articulation sound, find words that they don't know. There's context clues. So you can take one story from like A Chicken Soup for the Teenage Soul and work on so many different goals, and all the students in the group can really benefit from it. Maybe not, you know, if a kid, only the one kid has the artic sound, but they can all probably benefit from it. They all probably, you find a word that most of the kids don't know what it means, and it happens to have an R sound in it. They can all benefit from practicing that word, using it in a sentence. They can all benefit from it. So finding texts that are motivating for them, like the National Geographic. I know, a bunch of teachers in my building, you know, have highlighter subscriptions, or the Times magazine. Borrow them. Go to the school library. I know my school library has all those, and I borrow it all the time. This way I don't have to buy it for myself. So highly recommend browsing like what the, you know, ESL teacher has, or what the classroom, the school library has. They probably have a lot of those magazines that you can borrow for the day. Maybe make photocopies and bring it back. So highly recommend, because the kids love it, and that's what they're looking at when they're going to the library. So another thing I like to use is my favorite story cubes. Are you a fan of these? Are you? Okay. So simple. I don't know if you see me post on my Instagram and all that kind of fun stuff. I use the Somebody Wanted But So Then, and I write it as a visual ready to go. The students just roll and, you know, tell them to make it up. Half of these things, the kids don't even know what they are, right? Okay, you just order these. So, oh, I picked out, I didn't even realize I brought home the actions one. There's actions, and there's like different versions. I didn't even realize I brought home my actions one. So, actions are great for working on verb tenses. But okay, so the kids roll a story. You can say, make sure the story has something with your R sound, that kid. The other kid, make sure you tell your story using, you know, fluent speech. The other kid has to tell a story using a tier 2 vocabulary word. You know, they can all just take turns telling a story and rating each other's story, and like giving each other like a score, whether or not they like was funny or not. Something simple as that. They love it. There's storytelling, there's narratives, there is, you know, throw articulation, throw verb tenses, conjunctions, throw anything in there. They can use Rory story cubes. And if you buy the additional packs, then you have the actions and other things. Another thing, there's a lot. I Spy. There's I Spy books, there's I Spy games. I love I Spy Go Fish. Why not? And of course, any sort of Go Fish game or I Spy kind of thing makes them talk to each other, look for different things. You can look for the nouns, the verbs, the adjectives, describe things. There's so many different ways that you can, when you play games like card games like this, even Apples to Apples, Bubble Talk, all those types of games, make them come up with answers that have their articulation sound, or you have to infer what the other student's going to say, or anything like that. All those types of games you can work on with mixed groups. It's such a great way. Even Apples to Apples, sometimes I rig it. I'll give out certain kids certain cards that has their articulation sound, so it makes they're forced to use it because that was what they have in their hand. They don't know that I rig it. I rig it all the time. I cheat. It's okay. Don't tell them. Okay. So that was that. Okay. I have two favorite apps that I like to use. One's free and one's really cheap. And actually 3 apps, but okay, and 2 are free. So my 2 free ones are Chatterpix. I love Chatterpix. They can take pictures of storybooks. They can take pictures of each other. They can take pictures of you. They can take pictures of things they find on the internet. I don't know, whatever they want. And they can then put voice to it, and they can like make themselves talk, and it's just fun. And they can answer questions, they can retell stories, and they can make up a whole scene. One student can draw it, one student can record it, they can swap. It's just fun. They love it. Highly recommend it. It's free. Can't go wrong. So Chatterpix, look it up. It's free. Highly recommend it. And another free one that I like that you can easily use is Piccollage. Have you ever thought to use Piccollage in speech? Probably not. They can go for a little hunt around your speech room, around the school, looking for, you know, articulation sounds. Then, so that one kid could be taking the picture, one could be looking for the articulation sound. Another student can then make a collage of, you know, things in a category. You can make a collage of things that have to do with a story that you just read. And they can make different collages and then share them, print them out, you know, have fun with it. So Piccollage is just an easy one, and it's free, and just take pictures, and they can leave the therapy room, go to the library, go to a computer lab, and have them look things up and take pictures of it. Why not? Go for a little tour. Change it up as long as, you know, the kids are able to and you're allowed to. So those are the 2 free ones. Another app that I love, it's only $1.99, is the Bag Game. Have you heard of it? It's such a great one. Students get to like hide an object in like a brown paper bag, and then that's all the app is. Like, it gives you a whole bunch of objects, and then the student picks it, and then it hides it. And then the students can work together, and the other students have to guess what that one student, the Bag Game. And I have a link to it on my blog right now. So the Bag Game, they all have to guess. And I usually use the EET because they have a lot, and you can decide. Do you want them to ask yes/no questions? Do you want them to ask, you know, have that one kid describe it and have everyone else try to guess it? So you can decide. It's very open-ended, and it has seasonal themes. It has, you know, sports, food, animals, tools, all the different things. And I think now one of the app updates is like, I think you can take a picture and then hide it as well. So the students can hide a character from the story, and they have to work together, the other students in the group, to guess what is hidden in the bag. And then once you decide, and the app also has like prompts for the students struggling, and they can touch the prompt, and it gives them like question prompts to ask to try to guess what's in the bag. And once they guess it, they get to like pinch it. And they have so much fun with it. For $1.99, it's one of my like most used apps, and the kids love it. You can like use it as a whole session. You can use it at the end of a session. Every kid loves this game, right? It's so easy. It's like an electronic version of Headbands, basically, or Ned's Head. So, and Ned's Head and Headbands are another way to work with mixed group. And even older ones love it. Something so simple. They love just the pinching and hiding in the bag. Why not? And it makes like a crunching sound when, I don't know, like it's like a real bag. So anything like that, an app, and there's so many apps out there now that like, I know Smarty Ears and Virtual Speech Center. They have so many apps that you can give each individual kid in the group a different goal or a different set. Like, usually it has to stay within that app or category of the app, so the whole app might be following directions. But one kid could be working on sequential, and the other one could be working on something else. So a lot of those apps have it built in, but there's so many things out there that you can just do with multiple groups. Okay. So that was a lot of them. Any questions? I hope this helps like keep you motivated till June or May, whenever you are done, because I know that, you know, April, when you're busy writing IEPs and there's meetings and you're just burnt out. And there's state testing, there's all these different things going on. So you just want to just get through it and get enough data to prove whether or not these students made progress or not. So a little off topic, do you know how to take notes on your phone while taking Pearson? You can't take notes on your phone, but what I like to do is take screenshots, and then you can upload them into like a Dropbox or save them somewhere else. So remind yourself. So for me, most of my Periscopes, a lot of the things that I talk about are on my blog right now, and that's why I gave the link, and I'll show it to you again so you can see it. I gave you links to every product I discussed today, and more, so you can see everything there, so you can refresh that. But sometimes, unfortunately, there's no way to like take notes. There's not, it's not like Snapchat or whatever where you can comment or whatever. But yeah, that's what I like to do. So if I show anything or people put a comment, links, exactly. So if there's anything, just take a screenshot of it, and then it might refresh your memory later. Unfortunately, that's the only thing. Sorry, but that's a great. Hey, that's a great idea. But let me show you the link again so you can see. Okay, so that's the link. Okay, and those two, the articulation word search and the roll and tell an articulation story are just two of my products in my TPT store that I love to use just for mixed groups and are just print and go activities. So can't go wrong with a print and go. So. All right, so I hope this helps you. I hope you enjoyed some of these tips and tricks. I know there was a lot. I wanted to discuss and get through all of them. So thank you for staying with me. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. What are those called in your store? This is articulation word searches. You can find it under articulation word search using Tier 2 vocabulary words. And then the other one was Roll and tell an articulation story. And I have all the different articulation sounds and placements. And the students just roll the character, setting, and problem. And then I included, you're welcome, and then I included a graphic organizer. So character, setting, problem, solution, they can come up with their story, and then they can write it. So it's great for mixed groups because, you know, the language kids can benefit from it, and it's fun, and it's, you know, good for carryover. So those are just 2 things. And I have links to all that in my blog post. So thank you. Have a good night. And I will see you tomorrow on SLP Blogger Live. Take care. Have a good night. Bye-bye.